Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my slightly delayed, slightly late, just what month is it? What year is it? My December beauty roundup. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, it may not feel like this to you guys because obviously I had a video up every pretty much, other than Christmas Day, because I thought that was just pointless. No one wants to watch me on Christmas Day, you know? But other than Christmas Day, I had videos up as usual Monday, Wednesday, Friday over the last few weeks, but I haven't filmed for over 3 weeks. All of those videos you guys are watching were pre-filmed, so I took the entire Christmas school holiday break off with my family, my children, and we just had the most glorious, beautiful family precious time. So I'm a little rusty. Okay, I'm a little rusty, but I'm also really excited to be back. I've slightly moved I've changed my lights. I've changed where the camera is a little bit so that the frame is a little bigger, so you're not so close up my nose, you know. Hopefully that's an enjoyable time for you guys. So there definitely isn't as many products to talk about this month because it was Christmas. 3 weeks of December I wasn't filming and really buying new makeup. Obviously the launches kind of slow down right up to Christmas, and then it's like kapow, boom, straight back into a crazy January. So there's not as many products, and some of these products are not new, but they're new to me. So let's kick off with the Bianca Latte that I spoke about on my Christmas list, my Christmas wish list. This is the fragrance I spoke about in that, and here she is. I've also got a new monitor so I can actually see what I'm doing. So if I look over here, I'm sorry, it's going to take me a little while to get used to not doing that. But here is that bottle, absolutely beautiful. Now, if you saw my, I don't know, was it my November beauty roundup and then my Christmas wish list where I spoke about that I had a sample of this fragrance and I was not impressed. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the hype about this fragrance when so many people are saying this is like the greatest gourmand fragrance of all time. And while I'm not a gourmand girl typically, I can appreciate an excellent one, and I just wasn't getting from that sample what people were talking about this fragrance being the most stunning sort of burnt sugared caramel fragrance with this incredible performance. I wasn't getting it. All I was getting was a very harsh synthetic note with a hint of caramel. That's what I was getting that didn't really perform that well. So I kept reading reviews and kept thinking, I really want to love this fragrance. I want to try the full bottle because I have had samples before, decants of fragrances that just don't do the fragrance justice, particularly when it comes to performance, because you get such a small teensy little sprayer. You have to spray like 100 sprays to get like one spray of a full bottle. So I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a proper go. I really want to get to the meat of the bones, you know, and find out what this fragrance is all about. And let me tell you, the full bottle was a very different experience than the sample, as I've seen so many people say about this fragrance who've picked up samples. They had a similar experience to me. The full bottle is definitely a much, much more beautiful fragrance. I'm getting now what everybody else is raving about. It's just a very beautiful, smooth, sweet, burnt sugar caramel. Definitely got that creme brulee type of vibe. It's so beautiful. I didn't really think initially, I thought it had great longevity. I didn't initially think it was projecting a lot until I took my children shopping and we went into Smiggle, of course, the holy grail of children's lives. And as I was paying, the lady behind the counter complimented me on my fragrance. Was like, wow, what perfume is that? You smell amazing. And she was like a good few feet away, and I was like, wow, okay, so it really is projecting. And I have got lots of compliments on this fragrance. As I said, I'm not a huge gourmand girl typically, but I really like this one, and it is very crowd pleasing. I get a lot of compliments. It's very inoffensive if you're looking for something that performs really well but has that sweetness, that warmth, that caramel note to it, which I really do like a caramel note, but typically I like a caramel note as opposed to a caramel fragrance. This is very beautiful, and if you've tried a sample and you had a similar experience to me, just know that the full bottle is you're probably going to like it a lot more. Okay. At least that's what happened to me. I also ordered another couple of little samples slash decants last month, and they were both BDK parfums. So one was Gris Charnel Extrait and the other was the Pas ce Soir Extrait. Very hyped up fragrances at the moment, two fairly new extract of previous perfumes. So these perfumes exist as an eau de parfum and they've both been released as an extract. Slightly different notes and promise of bigger beast mode performance. I will say that the Gris Chanel extract is just not for me. I can appreciate it and it's got a gorgeous like tea note in there and I can understand why people really like it, but it's just not my type of fragrance. It's just not for me, but I do appreciate it and it does perform very well. Pas ce Soir extract. Oh, this was an instant, yeah, I'm gonna need a full bottle of that. This will 100% be my next full bottle for sure. It's so beautiful. It's a little sweet, but it's not sort of gourmand territory in my opinion. It's got incredible performance, really, you know, beast mode performance, perfect longevity, really nice amount of projection. And as I keep saying to you guys, I've got a really large fragrance collection now and I don't want to buy any more fragrances that are exactly like what I have or very similar to what I have already. I'm only interested in buying new fragrances if they are something new and different to my collection, but I still love and appreciate the fragrance, but it's just a little different to something that I have 10 bottles that are very similar already. And this definitely ticks that box for me, which is why it's going to 100% become a full bottle. It's described as being a fruity floral, and I definitely get fruity notes from it. The opening is pear, ginger, orange, cacao pod and black pepper, and it's got quince and peach in the middle, so there's definitely a lot of fruitiness in there, and I don't mind a fruity fragrance now and then, but I don't typically enjoy full-on fruity bombs, and this has that pepperiness, some florals in there, cashmere and ambroxan in the dry down, so all of those notes kind of make it a me fragrance while still being quite different to anything else I have. It's got patchouli in the base, so if you're not a patchouli fan, I don't think you'll like this because it is a noticeable note within that fragrance. It's just beautiful. It's really interesting as well. It's not really linear. You get a real journey of the fragrance and it changes throughout, and it's just so interesting and special to me. That's why it's going to 100% be a full bottle. That was a win. So next I have a couple of little skincare items from Florasis, which I don't know that I really knew Florasis did skincare. I think I really associate them with their incredible, ridiculously beautiful packaging of their makeup products, which I have been gifted a fair number of in the past, but for me I feel like a lot of the time the products don't match up to the beauty of the packaging. It's like everything is very underwhelming. Sorry about it, just how I feel. They have some nice lip products, but I found that their cheek products and their eyeshadows are just really lacking in pigmentation and impact for me. But something that I properly fell in love with over Christmas, because I went and stayed with my family, are these travel items. These travel, what am I trying to say? I told you I was rusty. Travel skincare solutions is what I'm going to call them. So these are cleansing oil pods. Oh my God. For travel, unbelievably handy. And then these are makeup wipes, which obviously I don't usually use. When I'm removing my makeup, I will always double cleanse. Cleansing oil to remove and then a cleanser to clean my skin. But in a pinch when you're traveling, this I took with me when I went to stay with my family to remove my makeup on Christmas Day. Literally whip this open and you've got the perfect amount of cleansing oil. I would actually say this would do you 2 days, but I don't know how you're going to keep it. Maybe you could prop it up somewhere. And then this just to take all the remnants off and just cleanse my skin. And also I didn't wear makeup on Boxing Day, so the second day I just used one of these just to give my face a clean before I did my skincare without having to remove makeup. These are like double-sided. Unfortunately, because this entire box doesn't have like an English translation on it, I have no idea what the difference is between these two sides of cleansing like makeup wipes. I don't know which side is different. I have no idea. One feels thicker than the other. I don't know if that's the difference. One is thicker and one is thinner. I don't know. I haven't noticed a difference to what it does to the skin, but these are just genius. And I know that when I go on holiday, I'm going to absolutely just travel with this, and it's going to be perfect for removing my makeup properly, but without having to take a big pot of cleansing oil or makeup cleanser or buying a special travel thing. They have those pods. They're amazing. I was so excited to take those because they take up so little room, but they're so handy. Perfect for travel. So the next thing I want to talk about is this hairdo. I mean, not the hairdo, obviously. I don't mean that. The tool that I did my hair with today, you may notice I've got some beachy waves going on, and it is this Amika Gynagarus, I believe is the appropriate term, beachy waver. I asked you guys on my stories, I can't remember, middle of December, let's say early December, if you had any recommendations for one of these, because I really wanted to try out a beachy waver. It's been like, I don't know, probably 20 years since I tried to use one of these, and I don't remember particularly loving it, but I'm seeing them everywhere all of the time. And I came across a video, a TikTok, I think, with someone with very thin hair showing how much volume and how much more hair this gives you. And for hairstyles as well, you know, you could use this and do an updo, and it's going to give you a lot more texture and volume. And I don't have the thinnest hair, but I also don't have the thickest hair either. I've definitely got, you know, it could be better. It could be thicker, it could have more body. I have very flat hair, very limp, lifeless sack of potatoes hair, typically, usually, especially when it's freshly washed with no product in. So I wanted to give this a try. And it's been a learning curve, okay? I tried this on my daughter's hair and it looked glorious on her. I feel like because her hair has never been touched, never been dyed, I think I've put heat on her hair. You know, she's 10, maybe 2 or 3 times. Obviously, I'm very careful. Just to say that. So I don't know if hers is just easier going than mine. Hers has a lot more body and life to it as well, because she's got 50% of her dad's glorious thick hair. So I don't know, it looked glorious on her. Obviously it's easier to do on someone else. Maybe that's something as well. The first time I did this, I burnt myself. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's up here somewhere, there's a little burn. Hopefully it's going to heal and go away. It gets incredibly hot. I use it at 200 degrees. It can go way hotter. Careful is all I'm saying, because it's so huge and like unwieldy that it's hard to control, and it's very easy to just touch yourself, especially when you're trying to get it close to your scalp. So the first time I used this, I wasn't impressed. I used it the typical way, you know, you clamp your hair, you hold for 5 seconds, you move on with your day. Once you've finished, you understand. It just was very, very subtle. It was you could barely tell I'd done anything. It wasn't giving me enough of a wave for what I was looking for. So I was watching tutorials thinking, is this one just useless? And all of the tutorials were saying to use it upside down. So that is like the correct way. You can see the logos there. You're not supposed to, presumably, but all of the tutorials were saying to use it upside down. So this way instead of that way. And let me tell you, that is true, 100%. Now I've got the perfect, what I was looking for. It's still not curls, because that's obviously not what it's supposed to do, but it's definitely given me now like a soft, natural, beachy wave with a bit of volume. By the way, please don't look at my roots. My hair is being dyed tomorrow. It was the earliest appointment I could get. I know it's horrifying, but you only have to look at it once or twice, okay? I've been looking at this for weeks, so try not to panic. But yeah, I love it now, and I managed to not burn myself this morning. I used it on 200. I was very careful. I used it upside down. Also using it upside down or back to front, whichever thing it is, it stops you getting that kind of hump that you get at the top sometimes when you use it the other way around. I haven't quite worked out what to do with my fringy pieces, my curtain bangs, because this is not correct, but it's a learning curve, okay? I will say I got a lot of recommendations, but every single one was different. Every single person who replied for my requests for recommendations gave me a different answer, so you were all completely unhelpful, okay? So I don't know if it was a mistake to get such a big one. This is the biggest size one I could find because I'm lazy and I thought it would be quicker. But I'm thinking in hindsight, smaller would have been better because it's maybe less likely to touch your skin or your ears, and it's maybe easier to hold. I don't know. It heats up incredibly quickly. It's got a nice little bloop, you know, what do you call it, stand, so it doesn't burn your desk. It is very heavy. So there's pros and cons. I did get it like 20% off, didn't pay full price. living by my own rules. But yeah, I like it. It's a learning curve. I'm going to keep trying it. I'm really happy with how my hair looks today. It's exactly what I was hoping for. So yeah, it's coming together. We're learning. It's a learning experience. Next up, another item that was on my Christmas wish list, the Ouai body cream. Oh, this is the St. Barts. Do they make more than one fragrance? I don't know. This is the St. Barts fragrance. Pina Colada in a body cream. Oh, it's just I feel like I'm at the beach. It's delightful. It's so nice. What I really like about this is I find that with a lot of perfume fragrance body creams, which I love buying like my favorite perfumes matching body cream because I just want to stink, you know, I want to be smelled in the next county. But I find a lot of them don't absorb as nicely as I'd love them to. You know, they're kind of heavy and thick and they take a bit of work to get them into the skin. It melts so nicely into the skin. It's not sticky or greasy. It feels delightful and silky. It's got a lovely luminosity to it as you work it into the skin, and the scent is to die for. It's pina colada. It literally smells like a fresh pineapple pina colada. It's delightful. I love it. Imagine this all over your bod and then a tropical fragrance, something like God of Fire. Oh my goodness, you're a tropical treat to the nose. Next up, I picked up one of the new shades of Pat McGrath's Chromaluxe Artistry Pigment. This is Nude Euphoria, the shade I was the most drawn to. I was hoping that this was going to be like the perfect one and done nude shadow, and I was right. Look at that reflection. These aren't super sparkly. They're not like Pat's sort of special shades. They're more of a sheen and like a wet look, which I love. It's so pretty. I have several of these. I wish they had brought Smuggler's Spice back because that's my favourite shade. It's one of, if not my most loved single one and done shadow. And I know I've spoken about that so much that so many of you guys wish you could get it, and it's been sold out since it came out. So I wish they had brought that back because I do feel like the vast majority of the shades she released with this collection were pretty average shades that we have a lot of, not particularly wow factor, whereas Smuggler's Spice I feel like really is wow factor. I would have loved to have seen a lot more interesting like duochrome shades like that. I feel like a lot of the shades, if not all of them, were quite like okay, like fine, nothing like blowing my mind that I don't already have 100 of. And it is, I know a lot of people are disappointed that this is like a sticker slapped on the front. It's not the luxurious packaging, but the jar is nice, I'll say that, and they last a very long time. They don't have a lot of fallout, they don't crease, and they are very pigmented, a lot of base, really nice sheen, really nice reflection. I really like them. I don't think they are like life-changing. So that's all she wrote. Next up, a moisturiser that I have been loving as my PM go-to over the last month, maybe longer. It's the Lancome Renergie HPN 300 Peptide Cream, another very catchy little name there. Oh, it smells so luscious. I don't know if you can see that because everything is just white, but I'm almost done with this. I'm at the bottom. I'm hitting pan, if that's possible, when it comes to skincare. This is just so luxurious and rich, which is exactly what I want from my nighttime moisturizers. It just gives me so much hydration. It's so rich, it's so hydrating, it's so nourishing, and my skin just feels like bouncy and fresh and hydrated when I wake up hours later. Let me tell you, I've had some sleeps over Christmas, okay? We've done 12 hours at times, and I've still woken up feeling hydrated, feeling moisturized, feeling like my skin's got, you know, still a bit of skincare there. It just is so rich. It's so lovely and it's just heavenly. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'll be devastated when it's gone. But it is refillable as well. You can pull these out and presumably you can get, I don't know, if I'm going to break a nail if I try to do it. I'll make my husband do it later because his nails are useless anyway. But I love it. Really, really nice. Very, very luxurious, very rich, and perfect for like an overnight treat, or if your skin is feeling a bit dry or something like that. It's just delightful. Next up, I have an announcement to make, okay? I have a new favourite under eye powder. Who saw that coming? I did not see it coming. I wasn't even looking. I've said this to you guys many times. Pat McGrath's pressed under eye setting powder has been my holy grail for years. I've repurchased it time and time again. I'm not looking, I'm not in the market for an under eye powder because I don't see how one can be better than that. So why keep looking? You know, once you've found your perfect holy grail and you're not left wanting for anything else, why would you keep looking? So I wasn't really looking, I wasn't intending to replace it, but I was very curious about the Givenchy Prisma Libre powder. This is the loose powder that for some reason has 4 little segments, all different colours. This is the 3rd shade, which is called Voile Rosé, I believe. And it's sort of the light pinky shade, the one that's sort of the most hyped up. I've just been seeing a lot of people talking about it. I don't try a lot of powders because I don't use a lot of powder. I only use powder to set my concealer. I never use it over my whole face. I never set my foundation because I just don't need to for my skin type and my preference when it comes to finish and all of that stuff. So I don't try a lot of powders, but I was intrigued by this one, it being a loose powder, everyone raving about it, that pink colour that's supposed to be super brightening under the eyes. So I thought, let's just try. I was a little bit bored in December. There wasn't a lot coming release-wise, so I thought, sure, let's give that a try. I tried to order the mini size because I was so convinced I'd use it once and never again. But the small size was sold out in this colour because it's the most popular. It's like constantly sold out. So I ended up with the big one, and thank goodness, because this is my new favourite holy grail under eye powder, or setting powder in general. And let me tell you, it's very close. There's nothing wrong with my Pat McGrath. I still love it. If you bought that because I've been raving about it for years, don't have any regrets, don't have any fears. I like them just as much as each other. The difference with this one, other than it being loose powder versus pressed, so that might influence your preference if you prefer one over the other. I feel like pressed powders last longer. Typically there's less mess, less waste, less goes into the atmosphere, but much less travel friendly, especially that Pat McGrath one. You know, the packaging isn't particularly sturdy and secure, so I don't like to travel with that, whereas I would be happy to travel with this because it's already smashed to smithereens, you know? So pros and cons between loose and pressed powders. The one thing that edges it with this powder for me is its mattifying power. The Pat McGrath pressed powder, if I had to have a complaint, it doesn't mattify or keep oil at bay around the edges of my nose. This is really the only place that my skin produces a bit more oil than I would like it to throughout the day. I get a little bit shiny, you know, just around the edges of my nose. And I'd say that the Pat McGrath powder does not, it's not really a mattifying powder. It has like a soft matte finish, but it does not do anything, in my opinion, to keep the oiliness at bay throughout the day. It doesn't really do that. What it does and why it's so kind on like fine lines in my under eye area is because it's very light and silky and smooth, and it will set my concealer, but in a very natural light way. This manages to keep this area mattified but still be as light and natural and flattering on my lines and my texture as the Pat McGrath, but it has that extra bonus that I've noticed my nose doesn't get shiny around here when I've used it. It's better at mattifying like this area, so it kind of ticks that extra box, which is why this is all I've been using since I picked it up. That was not on my bingo card for 2023, okay? Next up, a new mascara that I tried throughout the month of December. It's the Too Faced Better Than Sex Doll Lashes. This one, the new one, okay, not the original. I picked this up, again, a little bit starved for new makeup that I wanted to try that was available. I picked this up, you know how I love to try new mascaras. This is a very mixed bag of things that I'm about to say about this. I think the ultimate conclusion about how I feel about this mascara is that I don't think I would repurchase it. That's the most important bit of information that you probably need. But there are some really great pros to this mascara, but there are cons as well. I think I've only had this a few weeks and I've only used it maybe like, I'm gonna say 5-ish times. I really haven't done a lot of makeup over the last few weeks. I've barely worn makeup, but whenever I have, I've used this mascara. I wanted to give it a full testing. What I will say is I'm wearing it today and I'm happy with how my lashes look. I think you can get a really nice effect with this mascara. So that's plus point number one. But I don't find it easy to get here. I feel like it's quite a bit of work. The wand, I think the formula is great, but the wand is letting it down. It just doesn't comb through nicely, so I end up with quite a bit of clumping. I can't comb through and get separated lashes very easily. I find myself spending a lot of time applying this mascara to get it how I want it, and it does have the capacity to give me the drama I want and the lift and the volume and the separation, but it takes work to get there. It's nowhere near as easy to achieve the look that I want with this as it is with my love mascaras that I really enjoy. Having said that, I wore this on Christmas Day, and our tradition on Christmas Day was we go down to the beach and we do the Santa swim, which is when all the nutcases dress up in fancy dress and go into the sea. My brother does it. I have not done it as yet. I will do one year, but not yet. But we went down to support that and watch my brother go into the sea like a nutcase on Christmas Day. And it was fine raining, like really fine rain. There's no droplets, but you're getting soaked, but it's very fine, like a mist. That was happening, and obviously we were close to the sea. So my face just got soaked, and I was wearing this mascara thinking, oh, blimey, what's this going to look like by the time we get back to the house? And not a single smudge, transfer, drop, nothing. It's not waterproof, I don't think. And I'm not someone who typically gets a lot of transfer from mascaras because I don't have oilier eyelids, which is often what causes that. But the original Better Than Sex Too Faced mascara is the worst I've ever had. The worst panda eyes all over my whole face. Under here, even though I don't put it on my lower lashes, it was a disaster. So I thought this was going to be horrifying, but it's so much better that it was really held up under some very trying conditions. So I was very impressed with that. I will say it is quite a dry formula, which is probably why it holds up so well under those kind of damp, wet, spray in your eyes kind of conditions. And it's already quite dry in the tube after only a few weeks. So again, a major downfall really there, because you're just not getting the value for money to be able to use it for a good couple of months. So I wouldn't repurchase it. I think it's given me a nice effect, but it's got too many cons in there to make it a repurchase. Next up, Clé De Peau sent me some of their glorious holiday collection. Their highlighter. This packaging is unreal, and oh my goodness. And the highlighter is just unbelievably beautiful. This is shade 11 Radiant Aurora. When I saw this, I thought it's definitely going to be too light for me, but it's actually so subtle and it has so little base that it's very easy to blend this in and it look glorious. It's so pretty. It is very subtle, which you guys know I really like and enjoy, with a little tad of blending, and it just melts into the skin. It's so pretty, and this is some of the most stunning packaging I think I've ever seen in my life. I will say it's not like a new holy grail highlighter, but I have been really liking it. It's so beautiful, and the packaging just makes it a very enjoyable, luxurious treat. They also sent me one of the lipsticks. Which shade is this? Fearless in Coral. Obviously they know me very well. Again, the same stunning packaging. And what I love about this bullet, it has that stunning print there on the actual component itself, the actual twist up part, which is so beautiful. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. Glorious. Such a pretty wearable shade as well, right up my street. That is absolutely delighting me. So beautiful. I just love Clé De Peau's packaging. It's so luxurious, and that lipstick it's a really nice, it's coral, but it's a really wearable kind of muted coral that feels very unintimidating to wear if you're a little scared of a brighter coral. Beautiful collection. Now, a product that's not new but is new to me that I discovered in December are Tom Ford's lip shines. Obviously these are right up my street, but I've just never got around to trying them before. They are so nice. I bought the shade Nudiste by mistake. If you remember, I told this story I think on my Instagram stories where I ordered a shade called Char, and then Nudist arrived instead, and Selfridge's live chat was so annoying I just gave up and kept it. And I'm actually really pleased that I did, because I love Nudist anyway, so that was fine. But yeah, these are just gorgeous, really highly pigmented, creamy, very shiny lipstick. I also picked up the shade Le Clis, which I got from my friend Tavia, Chic Profile Official, because it was sold out everywhere. So these are the two shades that I have, but they are just, it's such a nice formula. It's one of those where I bought that first shade to try and see if I like the formula, and then immediately needed more. I love it. Such a nice, glossy, shiny, very pigmented, very comfortable, nice long wearing as well for that type of shiny lipstick, because it's got, you know, a real amount of sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It's quite thick, but not in a bad way. Does that make sense? So it doesn't leave your lips instantly like a thinner, glossier, lighter lipstick. They, like the Dior Addicts that I absolutely love, those are not long wearing because they're very thin. These are thicker, heavier, more substantial and more pigmented than those. I wouldn't say I like them more than Dior Addicts, but I do really like them. Such a nice formula that I'm glad I finally discovered late to the party as usual. Next up, let's talk about this latest quad from Charlotte Tilbury. This is Queen of Luck. I'm guessing this was like a Lunar New Year release, was it? I'm not really sure. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and I jumped all over it because, like I said before, we are a little bit starved of Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows recently. And this just looked right up my street. A very wearable, pretty Charlotte Tilbury palette that was going to be perfect for travel, perfect for every day. I will say, as lots of people said, it is, you know, kind of in the same ballpark. I did some comparison swatches. I had a few comments of people saying it's exactly the same as Star Aura, which actually it's quite different to Star Aura, but it is definitely in a similar color family. You know, it's a kind of neutral, everyday, more understated, basic quad, of which obviously that type of palette from Charlotte Tilbury we do have coming out of our ears. So it's nothing groundbreaking for sure, but I didn't find any solid dupes, which I think is what people were expecting this to be. It is so pretty, and I love that this has such a perfect neutral matte in here, whereas obviously Star Aura is all shimmer, and a lot of Charlotte Tilbury quads actually are typically all shimmer. So I love that this has that matte because it just makes it more versatile. You know, you can use that or not, you can smoke it up. It's a very buildable matte, perfect for every day, perfect for travel. But undoubtedly, if you have a lot of Charlotte Tilbury, this is probably an unnecessary addition to your collection. It's certainly not going to be anything that you don't have already as far as the shades and the overall look. I think it's an easy pass unless you just love Charlotte Tilbury, because then you won't be disappointed. You know, it's a very pretty, everyday, easygoing, lovely formulas, and I really enjoyed it. Definitely a good one for travel as well, because it's a nice handy little size, but certainly not like a new groundbreaking colour story. So lastly, I have a few new lipsticks that I picked up new to me, new shades of existing formulas or formulas that I already own, but new shades. So I picked up two of the new YSL Candy Glaze shades, 14 and 15. I'm wearing 15 today. These again are some of my favourite lipsticks, my favourite formulas. These are quite similar, I would say, to the Tom Ford lip shines. They're maybe a bit glossier. I absolutely love them. We couldn't get these shades here for some reason. They're kind of hard to find here. They launched everywhere in the US, and I think they typically have more shades there from YSL than we do here in the UK. So I had to order these via a friend from the US. So 14 is the browner shade, and then 15 is a bit more sort of pinky. Those are the two of the new shades. I can't remember what the other shade was that I wasn't interested in. But yeah, these are the two new shades I picked up. So nice. I love these Candy Glaze lipsticks. They're so juicy and plumping and shiny, and I absolutely love these. Are very wearable everyday shades, so I picked those up. And then lastly for today, I picked up a new Pat McGrath Matte Trance. This is the shade Venus in Flares. I've had my eye on this for so long, but I've been so convinced for a long time that Pat McGrath is going to come out with new like a whole load of new lipsticks, and she just keeps not doing it. But I'm sure it's coming at some point, it's got to. That I've not wanted to buy old existing shades, you know, I'm hanging on for the new ones. But I saw someone wearing this and I was like, you know, I need it. I'm gonna have to go and buy that. And it is just the most beautiful. I love this matte formula. It's so smooth, so pigmented, so creamy and comfortable and long wearing. And this is just the perfect sort of caramel, richer, deeper nude. This very much reminds me of Lisa Eldridge's Affair and several other of those deeper, richer nudes that I love, especially in summer when my skin tone is a bit deeper, and it's just so flattering. I'm absolutely loving that shade, and I'm really hoping we get some new of the matte trance, and I wish she'd bring back her luxe trances as well, because they were so great. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot to tell you guys about my Ultra Human ring. This was gifted to me a good over a month ago now. I think I've been using this for about at least a month, maybe 6 weeks tops, and I am loving it. I'm so grateful to Ultra Human for gifting this to me. This is not sponsored, but this was gifted to me, and I am very, very grateful, because I've been so interested in these rings. You guys know I used to have a Fitbit that exploded. Well, no, it didn't explode. It melted after I wore it swimming one day, which is ridiculous because you should be able to wear it swimming. And I haven't been able to trust them ever since, because it nearly burnt my hotel room down. It was about to catch fire. And I haven't wanted to replace it because that made me nervous. But I really miss knowing my steps, looking at my sleep data, and I find the app that comes with this ring that is just so much more easily digestible information. You know, it tells me all about my stimulants and when I should start consuming stimulants, when I should stop. It tells me about light, you know, blue light. It tells me about, you know, screen and phone usage and when I should taper that off. It tells me how well I've recovered from my sleep and how hard I should go with exercise each day. I find the information in the app amazing, and it's just so much more aesthetically pleasing than like my old Fitbit was. It took me a little bit of time to get used to wearing it at night in bed, because it is obviously quite a large ring, and it took me a little bit of time to get used to feeling it on my hand. Now I don't even notice it, but the first few nights I was like, I wanted to take it off, but I've definitely got used to that now. So that's just something to be aware of. They do a great sizing thing, because you really don't want to get your size wrong. They do recommend that you wear it on this finger, but I prefer it on this one because I'm just annoying and difficult. But I will keep you updated. I still feel like it's fairly new, you know, I'm only just getting to know everything that it does, and it's only just getting to record all of my data over a longer period of time, but I'm really, really happy with it. I'm so pleased with it. I'm really enjoying it, and I love reading all of the information. It's much easier for me to understand and get to like the bones of the information. It just presents it in a really easy to understand way. So I'm absolutely loving it, super happy with it. The one thing that I would say is obviously it's not a watch, so you can't tell the time. And you don't have all of the information on your wrist like you do with a watch. That's probably the one downside of a ring versus a watch, that you can't just look. You've got to go on your phone to see your data and to see your steps and things like that, and it doesn't obviously tell the time. So that's the one sort of drawback, ring versus watch, but otherwise it's all wins. But there you have it. That is everything I tried new to me in the month of December. I hope you guys had an amazing few weeks while I seemed like I was here, but I really was not here. I was really at the beach and under the Christmas tree and stuffing myself with Christmas delights. So I hope you had a wonderful start to your new year, and I'm now back. I'm here, I'm filming, I'm trying to remember what I'm doing, and let's see how that works out. So thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.